فيقول الذين ظلموا ربنا أخرنا إلى أجل قريب نجب دعوتك ونتبع الرسل أولم تكونوا أقسمتم من قبل ما لكم من زوال وسكنتم في مساكن الذين ظلموا أنفسهم وتبين لكم كيف فعلنا بهم وضربنا لكم الأمثال وقد مكروا مكرهم وعند الله مكرهم وإن كان مكرهم لتزول منه الجبال فلا تحسبن الله مخلف وعده رسله إن الله عزيز ذو انتقام يوم تبدل الأرض غير الأرض والسماوات وبرزوا لله الواحد القهار وترى المجرمين يومئذ مقرنين في الأصفاد سرابيلهم من قطران وتغشى وجوههم النار ليجزي الله كل نفس ما كسبت إن الله سريع الحساب هذا بلاغ للناس ولينذروا به وليعلموا أنما هو إله واحد وليذكر أولو الألباب صدق الله العظيم.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ولقد آتينا لقمان الحكمة أن يشكر لله ومن يشكر فإنما يشكر لنفسه ومن كفر فإن الله غني حميد. وإذ قال لقمان لابنه وهو يعظه يا بني لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك لظلم عظيم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Respected honorable brothers, respected listeners, last week we started talking about Luqman alayhi salatu wassalam. We know that he was a pious servant. Most of the ulama, they feel that he was not a prophet. Rather, he was one of the great servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who was blessed with hikmat and wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom is a special quality that a person gets through which, it's called malaka in Arabic language, ability and capability to have control over oneself and to articulate and display oneself in the most perfect way and to control himself from misbehaving. So when a person has this quality, then he's able to control himself. He's very calm, forbearant, tolerant. He does not react so quickly, and he's able to articulate himself in the most decent way and not indecent way. Now this is a quality that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to very few people, but whoever gets this, وَمَن يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Whoever has been given this, indeed he has been given a good amount of, a lot of goodness. Ulama, they mention وَمَن يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ, whoever has been given hikmat, also means knowledge, because knowledge is a means of getting hikmat and wisdom. So me and you are sitting here today to take knowledge, and inshallah this knowledge will transfer into wisdom. So pay attention, and inshallah we will be discussing some points of Luqman alayhi salatu wasalam. Just before I mention the very famous nasihat that he gave to his son, there's about 10 of them. Before I go into those points, I wanted to share some other advices that he had given to his son. So I will just mention them, and these are, mashallah, very, very precious advice of Hakim Luqman alayhi salam, and we should try noting them down and try understanding these points here. So he was having communication. So not many times we find parents engaging in communication with their children. But Hakim Luqman, he teaches a lesson that we need to engage with our children and interact with our children. So, Ya bunayya. In fact, in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانُ لِابْنِهِ وَهُوَ يَعِظُهُ يَا بُنَيَّ. So he uses Ya bunayya. Ya bunayya in Arabic language, for those that don't understand Arabic language, it comes from the word ibnun. And ibnun means a son. But if you want to put affection to it, if you want to put more love, compassion to it, then you would express the same word, not by saying Ya ibni, rather you would say Bunayyun, Bunayya, Ya Bunayya. So he wants to draw the attention of his son close to him. So this is one hikmat and wisdom we learn, that if we want to really draw someone close to us, the first thing we're going to have to do is win his heart over. And how do we win his heart over? By speaking in such a tone that he'll be happy. So for example, I want to, someone comes to me. I normally take Abdullah's name, and Abdullah's sitting here, but not you, Abdullah. I'm just talking about any servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He comes to me, and I want to really talk to him and engage in a conversation. So I will engage with something which is more pleasant by saying, MashaAllah, your name is so beautiful. Everyone loves their name. Everyone loves their name. So now when you take his name and you say, oh, you have a beautiful name. So he's going to get this feeling, he's going to be happy with it. So now I'm paving the ground to say what I want to say. So the first thing is that we need to look for the opportunity, or we need to create the opportunity وَهُوَ يَعِيدُهُ, if you want to give advice. There is no such thing as a father giving advice to his children in a very harsh way. You will not be successful. We have to be very, whenever we give any advice, we need to make sure that we create an opportunity, or we look for an opportunity, and at the very same time, we need to make sure that we are creating a good opportunity for us to say what we need to say. So if I start off with my son, that, oh, you did this, you're so bad, you're bad, hey, come sit, let me tell you something. He's already in a bad mood, and now I'm going to tell him something good, nothing. He's just going to be, oh, my father is so mean, he always says like this to me, he talks like this to me, he always puts me down. So already I have lost his attention. So he will sit with me, but he will not give his mind and his heart to me. So if I want to do this, oh my beloved son, even sometimes it happens that our children, sometimes what happens, this is psychology that we need to understand, that our children sometimes, they're very experimental. I know parents are not sitting here. I wish the parents were sitting here so they can understand what I'm trying to say here. So our children, they like to experience things in their life. So what normally happens is you're going to have a son and a child who comes, and you tell him to bring a glass of water for you. So he brings the water, and he's going to be very experimental. So as he brings it, he's going to try, bringing the water and run around and see if he can hold with one finger or two fingers. And by the time he brings it, there goes the water, not just the water goes, but at the very same time he breaks the glass as well. So it's not that the water is gone, but at the very same time you lost the cup as well and the glass as well. And now you have glasses shattered into pieces. So this is just part of the experiment that your son is doing. So I don't think that should be an opportunity for you to rebuke, to refute, to be harsh with the child. I don't think many of us will actually take that, and I know most of us, maybe myself as well, we would react in a very harsh way, and we would say that you're langra lula, or you would say you're crippled, and you're a very clumsy person, and you can't even hold a glass of water and you broke it, and who's gonna clean up this mess here? So all these statements that comes out are negative. Now I don't think there will be many of us that will actually say that, oh son, no problem, you know what, just come and come to me, and this mess here, don't worry about the glass, don't worry about the water. Okay, the water is gone, we can always get another cup of water from the tap, and the glass is broken, no, don't worry, we'll buy more glasses, so don't worry about that. All I want you to do is, if you can, just clean it up nicely. You see the difference between the two tones? So one tone was, man, what did you do? You broke the glass here, you broke this down here. What's wrong with you? Who's going to pay for this? Your dad's going to pay for this? And the dad is saying it to his son as well, right? So, that's one tone. And the second tone would be a very respectful tone. So there's a very big difference between the two. Now, let me teach you, or let me share with you a similar incident that happened at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Just on the same note here. So we find two scenarios. One is, there's one scenario is basically, you ask your son to bring a glass of water, and by the time he's experimenting, holding on 2 fingers, and obviously he's not going to keep it up, and he breaks it, right? So when he breaks it, or maybe, you give him, bring eggs, and he's juggling with, 5 eggs, and he's going like this and bringing it. He's not going to keep up. So he smashes all of them. So now what happens is, which tone are we going to use? The harsh one or a soft one? So we learn from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at one occasion, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this was in respect to his family. What happened is, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was spending the night with Aisha radiallahu anha, and it was her turn. Now another co-wife, she decides to send something, a platter of food to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now Aisha radiallahu anha says, hey, today is my turn and it's my day with Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And why is someone, sending food? Right? It should be my day to entertain Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why is someone sending their food? I don't want that. So she takes the food and she takes the platter and she smashes it. So the food is gone and the plate is gone as well. Now, imagine as a husband, if your wife was to do that, what would you do? It's the same thing. What would you do? So we have two scenarios. One is, we can blow our heads and scream, shout, curse, do whatever we want. And you're always like that. You do things like this here. You always cause it. And then maybe we can use a softer tone the way Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew that Aisha radiallahu anha, she was very sentimental. He knew exactly why she was infurious. He knew that Aisha could not tolerate another wife. And that is the reason why in Arabic language, the relationship, the relationship between me and my sibling is called brothers, or brother and sister, right? So the relationship between one wife and another wife, meaning two co-wife, what is it called in Arabic language? It's called dhurra or dharira. So it comes from the root word dharar. In other words, we learn that by nature, no matter how much they're together, they will have a little bit of feeling of harming one another or some kind of feelings for one another. It's by nature like that. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew this, that because someone sent the food, that's why Aisha radiallahu anha became angry. So when she calmed down, then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Oh Aisha, you know the food was for me, but I forgive you. But this plate here, in fact, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he himself picks up everything. Because Aisha is angry at that time, so he picks it up and he cleans it at that time. I don't know how many husbands will actually be ready to do that. You know, your mess and I clean up, that ain't going to happen. But this is exactly what, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam does. And then Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says to Aisha radiallahu anha when she calms down, that, the food was for me, no problem. But the plate, replace it and give her back because that plate belonged to her. So this is how Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to handle situation. So likewise, within our father and son relationship, we need to be very selective with the tone that we use and the words that we use, because our children, they will remember. So that is why Prophet sallallahu, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانُ لِبْنِهِ. And remember this. Look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us, remember when Luqman says to his son, وَهُوَ يَعِيدُهُ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts this word, that it was not just a communication, rather the communication was giving some advices. So, first of all, we learn a lesson that as parents, we should not always leave it to someone else. Come to Friday program and get advices. No. We as parents, we should be able to give advice to our children as well. We should be able to interact with them. They should have one-on-one dialogue with one another. This is very important. The second thing we learn from this is when Luqman wanted to address his son. In fact, Tafsir Qurtubi mentions, he brings a question that was the son a Muslim at that time? And according to Imam Qurtubi rahmatullahi alayhi, he was not a Muslim. He became Muslim after. That is why the father told him, La tushrik, that don't associate partner. Because if he was a Muslim, then why would he be telling him to do shirk? That don't do shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because he was not a Muslim at that time, that is why Luqman alayhi salatu wasalam told him. This is according to the opinion of Imam Qurtubi rahmatullahi alayhi. So when he is addressing and when he is giving nasihat to him, he used very selective good words, which will attract the attention of who? The son. And this is something very, very important that we all need to take back today. That if I want to really be effective with my son, with my children, and I need to leave good impression and make sure they take my words seriously, well, I need to do my job and make sure I am very selective in terms of my words, and I am very selective in terms of the opportunity in which I will be giving the message to my children. That is extremely important. So some of the nasihat that were given, I'm going to pause what's mentioned in the Quran, we'll get back to that, but I wanted to mention some nasihat which came here. So Ya Bunayya, he says, oh my beloved son, Innal hikmata, this wisdom here, ajlasatil masakin majalis al muluk. Innal hikmata, hikmat has a power, wisdom has such a great power that ajlasatil masakin, it put the poor and destitute were on the place of kings. So simply having wisdom, they were able to get the position and the rank of who? The kings. This is the power of wisdom. And that is why we find Luqman alayhi salam, that he was a slave. He was an ordinary person. He was not a good looking person by physical description. But despite all that, Allah had given him wisdom, and through wisdom, we may not remember the kings, but we will remember him. We may not give the same maqam and status to other kings as we would to Luqman. And at his time as well, he was given the same status and maqam and position as a king would, or even greater than that, simply because of having wisdom. So my friends and my youngsters, and all my dear brothers and sisters sitting here today, remember, money is not the only thing that we need in this world. Status is not the only thing that we should be yearning. Hikmat and knowledge is also very important. Hikmat and knowledge is also very important. One day, one brother was sitting with me in the car and we were having a discussion. And he tells me, I don't know, sometimes I don't like to go too much into detail because you will figure out who the person is, but he was telling me that he came from one area where they lost almost everything. It was Burma. They lost almost everything. And all the wealth they had, they lost that. So now this person here, he had to leave Burma, and he moved and he came back to India and he was studying there. Now this person here, when he's studying there, what happened was he had some other friends with him. So they all decided to go to an elderly person to get some knowledge and wisdom. So they went to that person, and that person says, or his friends told that elderly person about him, that he was a very rich person, and when he left that country, he had to leave the country, he lost everything. So that person said, money comes and goes. If he has knowledge and if he has wisdom, then whatever he lost, he will get all that back. And that is absolutely true. I see that person, alhamdulillah, he is well off. His brothers are well off, simply because of hikmat and wisdom. So this is the key thing. That is why we find the wise people, they invest in their children hikmat and wisdom and knowledge, as opposed to other things. So hikmat is something very important. If we really want our children to progress in this world and hereafter, then invest hikmat, knowledge into our children, and then you will see who your children will become. So the first nasihat that Hakim Luqman gives is innal hikmata. Hikmat has the power and ability to put the poor people on the position of who? The kings. That's how powerful hikmat is. But on the flip side, if the person does not have hikmat and wisdom, then the people who inherited billions of dollars, but they had no knowledge, they had no wisdom, they will squander, they will waste their money in such a way that within 1 month they will be on the street. There are many stories like that. There are plenty of stories where people, they inherited so much money, but as a result, what happened was that they had no brains, no wisdom, and they lost everything. And we find the rich people, that's what happens to their children. They just, they squander, they waste money, and as a result of that, they're on the streets and they don't do anything productive with their wealth that their children, their parents leave behind. The second nasihat that he gave was, Ya bunayya, jalisil ulama bi rukbatayk. Sit in the company of the ulama rukbatayk. Rukbatayk basically means, can someone demonstrate for me? On your knees. So you would be sitting something like Brother Tamim. Sit rukbatayk, like this here. Comes in hadith Jibreel, فَأَسْنَدَ رُكْبَتَيْهِ إِلَى رُكْبَتَيْهِ. So because the Jibreel, when he was sitting in front of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was sitting like this with two knees and straight upon Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, actually touching it. So when you sit like that, so he says, جَالِسِ الْعُلَمَاء بِرُكْبَتَيْكِ. Okay, and فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ, and then he mentions the reason why. That فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ, verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يُحْيِي الْقُلُوبَ بِنُورِ الْحِكْمَةِ. Allah will revive the hearts through the nur of hikmat and wisdom. Allah will Allah will revive the hearts through بِنُورِ الْحِكْمَةِ, through the light of wisdom and knowledge. That is why it's very important. And many times it's noticed that when a person wants to take benefit from someone, he should not look at his faults. He should look at the positive thing and knowledge and take benefit from that. كَمَا يُحْيِي الْأَرْضَ الْمِيتَةَ بِوَابِلِ السَّمَاءِ. And then he gives an example that just like how the dead land, barren land, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings down water and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revives that earth and that ground, like that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will revive your heart. So when you go to in a company of ulama, you want to take benefit. And that's the most important thing that we want to do. We want to take maximum benefit, and we want to take opportunity that our hearts are enlightened. So that was the second nasihat. The third nasihat, Ya bunayya, إِذَا أَتَيْتَ مَجْلِسَ قَوْمٍ. Oh my son, when you come to any gathering, any assembly, مجلس قوم فرمهم بالسلام. If you are able to, then make salam, say assalamu alaikum. ثم اجلس ولا تنطق. Now when you are sitting in a gathering, sit down but don't speak. Just sit down and observe but don't speak. ثم اجلس ولا تنطق حتى تراهم قد نطق. Until you see them, they have finished talking. Sometimes what happens is that, when there's assembly going on and we're just sitting and talking and someone comes along. Now he should take permission. May I sit? If something is not personal and if it's not private, may I sit? So he's given permission. Now when he sits, he should not just start what he wants to say. Rather observe what the discussion is going on, so he knows exactly what to say and what to talk. Otherwise, if he is going to start speaking, then in Urdu, Urdu में जो कहते हैं ना, बल्कि गुजराती में कहते हैं कि चलती गाड़ी में, the train which is moving and you just get onto it. So that train which is moving, you get onto it, there's a chance that you may not be able to latch onto the train, and you might fall and hurt yourself and break your legs. So you should be careful when you sit down. First observe what is the conversation and then look for the right opportunity to speak. Ya bunayya, inna min al-kalam. The fourth advice was, O my beloved son, sometimes when you speak, your words are inna min al-kalami ma huwa ashaddu min al-hajar. Your words are harder and tougher and solid than a rock. Wa amarru min as-sabri. And sometimes your words will be more bitter than patience. Do you understand that? More bitter than patience. Patience is bitter sometimes. You have a person who deliberately hurts you, or he does something to you which really frustrates you. Now for you to control your patience is literally taking a bitter pill into your mouth. That's how frustrating it is, especially when you have a person who is younger than you, and you have authority over him, you have power over him, and he hurts you, he says bad things to you, and you persevere and you don't say anything back to him. So at that moment, it's very bitter, but you swallow the bitter pill. So Hakim Luqman says that some words that we speak, they're very hard and they're very bitter. And وَأَحَرُّ مِنَ الْجَمَرُ, and they are more heated than charcoal, burning charcoal, meaning they're very hot, they're solid, and they're very bitter, some words. So he says that وَإِنَّ الْقُلُوبِ. Now the heart is mazari'. It's a place where things grow. So he says, فَزْرَعْ فِيهَا طِيبَ الْكَلَامِ. So be very selective in the words that you use. Be very selective. You can use words which are very hard like a rock. You can use words which are very bitter. And you can use words which are very hot. And you can use words which are very soft. So he says, for your heart, a word which is hard will not help you. A word which is bitter will not help your heart. And a word or speech which is very hot and heated will not help you. What will help you will be soft, pleasant tone, and that is what you need. So he says your heart is mazari'. It's a place where crops, vegetation grows. So فَزْرَعْ فِيهَا. So let vegetation, fruits and vegetables grow onto your heart. And how do you make it grow? You make it grow by bitibil kalam, with good words, pleasant words and sweet words. These are the words. So respected brothers, when we speak, be selective and use good words. Another advice, he says, Ya bunayya, salasatun la ta'rifuha illa inda salasatin. Three things are such that you will never be able to understand and recognize them and know their true value unless you experience it. So for example, you will never be, first one, لا تعرف الحليم. You will not be able to recognize a tolerant, forbearing person. A person who's very forbearing, who's very tolerant. Haneem, burudbar admi. A person, who doesn't get agitated, frustrated, angry right away, very quickly. Rather, he's very calm. I can say as much as I want, मैं तो सब्र करता हूँ. तकलीफों पर बहुत सब्र करता हूँ. I'm very patient. I don't take action right away. And I'm not very aggressive. I can say, but only when you are tested. So when a person is tested, a halim is only known, a forbearing person, a tolerant person is only known in the ghadab, when he is angry. Then see. Otherwise, when he is speaking, you will not be able to notice. So now let's say you really want to test the husband with the wife, or you really want to test the wife with the husband. So they're both going to say, oh, I have a very soft-natured, very soft-natured person. But now one day when things get heated, and when they're angry and frustrated, when the husband is angry and frustrated because the food is not ready and he's so hungry, at that moment, is he halim? Is he forbearant? Then you will know that he has a sifat or not. So the first thing is halim. If a forbearant person, you will never be able to recognize except at the time of anger, how he executes and how he articulates himself when he is angry. Number two, wala shuja', a brave person. You may have muscles, and mashallah, you may be bodybuilder, and Allah may have given you, mashallah, good strength. But regardless of who you are and your power and your ability, your bravery will only be known in the harb, when you're fighting. And when the opponent is in front of you, then and only. Otherwise, no matter how much you show off, and you with those tight t-shirts that you walk around in the summer, and really show that you have no fat and etc. I don't know what the youngsters do these days. So nothing will matter unless if you really want to show your bravery, you'll be able to show it. And back in the days, they actually used to show bravery. Nowadays, we show bravery by, getting a trophy of a lion and a wolf and things like that, and we make a big deal that, look, I got this here. Or we take a gun and we shoot the lion and we think that what we've done. But back in those days, like Tipu Sultan, rahmatullahi alayhi, he actually, for him to come out from the jail, he had to fight a tiger. Tipu Sultan, during the time of British. And the people who read history and who read it a lot, they will know about it. So he actually fought the tiger. And so he was not, the British, they actually had guns and all that. But he didn't have anything. He only had himself. And he fought the tiger, one-on-one. That is what you call bravery. Not seeing a tiger behind the cage, or a lion behind the cage. Or, you have a gun, and, poor lion, he's got nothing, obviously. So, again, maybe, most of us, I don't even think, guns will do anything. When you see a real lion, I don't think, you even with your gun, you'll just freak away. You don't think you'll be able to stand before a lion or a tiger. Anyways, so if you want to see a bravery, you will not be able to see this unless when you experience it with your opponent. The third thing is, وَلَا أَخَاكَ إِلَّا إِذَا احْتَجَتْ إِلَيْهِ. A true brother and a friend and brother in Islam, you will never be able to recognize him, whether he is your true brother in Islam, unless when you experience a need. So it's very easy for me to say, you're my brother, how are you, brother? I can say all that. But only when I am in need, or when you are in need, and now when you call me up and you say, Sheikh Ibrahim, I need this, can you help me? I'm like, brother, I'm a little busy right now. Can you call me back later? Now I don't pick up his calls. When I see, this guy's calling me, I ignore it. So a true brother can only be recognized at the time of what? Need. And then he mentions, Ya bunayya, la ta'murin nasa bil yusri. Don't tell people to do good things. وَتَنْسَ نَفْسَكَ. And you yourself forget about it. So we tell other people to do good things, but we don't do good things ourselves. Those people who tell other people to do good things, and they forget themselves to do good, their example is فَيَكُونُ مَثَلُكَ مَثَلُ السِّرَاجِ الَّذِي يُضِيءُ لِلنَّاسِ وَيُحَرِّقُ النَّفْسَ. Amazing. So what a beautiful example he gave. He says that if you want to know that person who is giving good advices to people, who tells others to do good, but he himself does not do any good, his example is like the example of a candle. What does a candle do? Candle, it benefits others because it gives light. But it's burning itself. It's burning itself. And it's benefiting others. So if there's no light here right now, we are benefiting from the candle because we'll be able to see. But what happens to the candle itself? Because of the fire, it's melting, 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 and eventually the candle will disappear. So that person who benefits others but does not benefit himself, the example of this person is the very same example of a candle, that the candle is benefiting others, but the candle is not benefiting its own self. That is why we should not become, we should always take benefit from what we say as well. And he says further, Ya bunayya, lil hasidi thalathatu alamat. He says, a jealous person, many times people are jealous of one another. You find youngsters, oh, this guy, he got accepted in medical school, I didn't. Wow. So you start feeling, you get that jealousy. Wow, this person here, he's got a job already, I didn't. Wow, this person got accepted in that company, I didn't. Wow, this person is doing good in math and I'm not. So everyone, this jealousy is one of the things that just comes into people. And we become jealous. We may not show it, but in our heart, we are jealous. So this jealous, so he says here, a jealous person, if you want to know if the person is jealous or not, he has 3 signs. So keep these signs in mind. A jealous person will have what? 3 signs. No matter how good he is to you, but he will have 3 signs. One sign is يَغْتَابُ صَاحِبَهُ إِذَا غَابَ. That, for example, if I am jealous of someone, then what I'm going to be doing is when I don't see that person, I'm going to backbite, I'm going to slander, I'm going to talk bad about him. So I'm jealous of Abdullah, so what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be talking bad about Abdullah. Oh, he's like this, oh, he's bad, he does this, he does this. If I'm jealous of him. Number 2, وَيَتَمَلَّقَهُ إِذَا شَهِدَهُ. And when he is present, when Abdullah is with me, oh wow, man, Abdullah, you're good, man. You're amazing, man. You're a super boy, man. You're a Superman, man. You ace your exams and your test and everything, man. How come you're so good? Oh man, you're amazing. So flattering the person. So you're only doing that on his face. But when he's absent, then you are critical with him. But now when he is in front of you, then what do? You are flattering the person. So this is what? The second sign of a person who is jealous. And the third sign is وَيُشْمِتُ فِيهِ عِنْدَ الْمُصِيبَةِ. I will become very happy. If I am jealous of Abdullah, then I will become very happy when he goes through some problems. So Allah forbid, Abdullah went through an accident, good for him, he deserves it. Or if Abdullah failed in one of the tests, good for him. Yeah, he deserved it. He should have failed. That's it. I wanted that to happen. So because I am jealous, that is why, what am I saying? Good for him. So وَيُشْمِتُ, he will be happy when his opponent is going through some difficulty and hardship. So 3 signs we should keep in mind. 1, if you're jealous of someone, then you will backbite and slander and talk bad about him in his absence. And when he's present, you will flatter and talk all good things about him. And when he goes through some difficulty and hardship, in your heart, you'll be happy and you'll be enjoying. That is a sign of what? Hasad. And obviously, it's a very detailed discussion that we will go on. But beautiful nasihat that was given by Hakim Luqman. Ya bunayya, ij'al ma'rufaka fi ahlik. Ya bunayya, in kunta fi salati fahfal qalbak. Hakim Luqman says to us that, he's telling his son that we need to look after a couple of things. So he says, in kunta fi salati, if you are in salat, what's the most important thing that you have to look after? Your heart. If you don't look after your heart, then obviously there will be no khushu, khudu, no devotion in salat at all. So the most important thing that you have to look after is what? Your heart. But you have to understand, in order for me to look after my heart in salat and have that concentration in salat, I'm going to have to look after my eyes and my ears and other parts as well. So in salat, most of the time, our other parts of the body are all focused except for our eyes. Our eyes will go here and there, here and there. So we have to make sure that our eyes are on the ground and they're not looking around here and there. I know in this masjid here, and most of the masjid as well, there's so many signs. Sometimes when you go to the masjids, that is where the management takes the opportunity of putting a nice big board. This is our project, this many $1 million we need, and we have covered up, we have raised $500,000, we still need this many $1 million here, this is our project. That person says, Allahu Akbar, and he's only looking at that, woo, and the whole time he's coming the picture there. It's not a good thing. In fact, Ibn Nujaym rahmatullahi alayhi clearly mentions that when you're praying salat, there should be no distraction in front of you. And I saw one masjid, in Masjid Salam in Chicago, the place where I was invited last year, amazing masjid. I saw not even a clock, no nothing in the front. Why? So that you come, in fact there was no clock at all. So the imam comes and people pray salat. Because this is another thing, people have lost respect for imam. So if the imam is 1 second late, no imam, astaghfirullah, no imam. No, we should be waiting for imam. Not that imam should be waiting for us. So back in those days, you have safs, people will be waiting, and the imam, when you go to Haram Sharif, what happens? Is there a fixed time when the imam comes? No. In Makkah Mukarramah, there is no fixed time. Imam comes and leads prayers. So likewise, that's how it's supposed to be. So when I asked the people in Chicago why they do this, they said that, look, we train our people that when the imam comes, the salat will stand. Obviously, the imam should not abuse his position, but at the very same time, imam should not be tied down to every second, every minute. We have our seconds right now here. This many seconds, 5 seconds are passed, and the imam is not there. You're looking around here and there. What's going on here? There's a big catastrophe and calamity. Bahut badi musibat aa gayi ki imam nahi hai, kahan chale gaye? So all this happens. So the point I'm making here is that we need, the first thing we need to do, he says, is protect your heart in salat. وَإِن كُنْتَ فِي مَجَالِسِ النَّاسِ. And oh my beloved son, if you are in the company, like this company here, then there is something that you need to protect. What is it? If you are in a gathering, not this gathering here, but when you are socializing with your friends, then there's one thing you need to protect. What is it? فَحْفَظْ لِسَانَكَ. Protect your tongue. Many times it happens that you say something, you leave, oh my God, why did I tell him that? I shouldn't have said that to him. I shouldn't have said this. You start regretting. So when you are in salat, protect your heart. When you are socializing with your friends, protect your tongue. وَإِن كُنْتَ فِي بُيُوتِ النَّاسِ. And now when you go to people's house to visit people's house, then you have to protect one thing. What do you have to protect? Eyes. Basarak. Fahfaz basarak. We don't protect our eyes. The sisters listening there as well, we need to protect our eyes. Because what happens is that now, oh my God, this person has this here. My husband is so stingy, he can't even get this. And look, this person has this thing here. So now when we are looking at other people's house and what they have, and we don't have that, then automatically we're going to get more and more dunya into our hearts. And look what they have and look what we don't have. That's what's going to happen. Fahfal. And also sometimes it happens that, it's possible that you are in someone else's house. So there may be sisters out there, there may be other people out there who are non-mahram to you. You're not supposed to be looking at them. And, you may end up staring at them. So obviously look after your eyes from, especially when you're in people's house. وَإِن كُنْتَ عَلَى الطَّعَامِ. And when you are on the table of food, then there's something you need to protect. Very good. We need to what? فَحْفَظْ مَعْدَتِكَ. We need to protect our stomach. And when I say protect, You need to protect it. So whatever it takes to protect it, we need to do that. So for example, nowadays, especially on this topic here, you are what you eat. Right? So basically, if we eat junk food, then we are junk. If we eat good food, then we are good. So basically, we need to keep in mind that if I want to protect my stomach, and it's an amazing machine that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. It goes through 5 digestion system, and it's amazing how and it separates everything. The nutrients it needs, and all the waste that goes into different arteries and it comes out. It's amazing process. And we know in Canada, most of the people have problem with constipation. Every second to third person will have problem with constipation. So what we should be doing is protecting our stomach. Now what are we going to be doing? Most of the youngsters sitting here, what you should be doing is we have cereal box, for example. So we want to eat cereal. So look at it. How much sugar there is in it. Oh, look. For my taste, the sugar is nice, but not for my stomach. And it's not my tongue that matters. It's my stomach, because that's the machine that's going to help me or it's going to break down. And I want to make sure I protect my stomach, because everything happens here, not here. So your tongue is only going to take things in, and it's here. So, for example, ketchup. You know how much, sugar ketchup has? 1 tablespoon has at least 5 grams, some ridiculous amount of sugar in it. There's chocolate. So when you're eating a chocolate, mashallah, in Canada, it says the nutrient column. So see how much sugar you're putting in there. So don't just think that you're eating chocolate. Look at the nutrient. No, I'm putting so much sugar into my body, and it's not good. Okay, let me take this much chocolate, that's it. I'm only going to eat this much because sugar. When you're drinking Coke, when you're drinking Pepsi, 7-Up, and any kinds of drinks, they're all sugar. So now when you're putting into your stomach, don't think that you're drinking Coke and you're enjoying it. Rather, you should be thinking that I am putting this much sugar into my body. Now, is it good for my stomach? Well, I need to protect my stomach. I need to make sure my stomach and my machine stays healthy. So what do I need to do? I need to make sure that I'm only going to put this much sugar. So if we control ourselves, so fahful, so protect. So, we are so lucky. Even my son, I don't know where he disappeared. He was here right now. I tell him that how much fiber is in this cereal here. So, he starts looking at, there's fiber in this one here. Oh, there's no fiber. Yeah, I tell him, the one that has fiber, eat that. The one that doesn't have fiber, don't eat that. So we need to train our children as well. Make them read that nutrient column so that they're able, that nutrition column, make them read that. So they know exactly how much sugar they're putting into their system and how much nutrients they're putting into their system. So Hakim Luqman says that if you are on the table of food, don't devour. Make sure you're putting the right thing into your stomach. So, وَإِن كُنْتَ عَلَى الطَّعَامِ فَحْفَظْ مَعْدَتَكَ. Protect your stomach, your machine. It's a priceless machine. Look at the people that go on dialysis. Look at the people that have so many difficulties, because their machine is not functioning well. And we don't want to lose this, because we lose this year, we will never be able to get that back. And the last nasihat that he gave, Ya bunayya, isnani la tadhkuruhuma abada. He says, 2 things, never ever remember them. 2 चीज ऐसी है कि जब आप उसको बिल्कुल भुला दो, उसको बिल्कुल याद मत करो. 2 things are such, never remember them. Forget about them. The first thing is isa'atun nasi ilayka. Those people who ill-treated you, who disrespected you, who were bad with you, take that off your mind. Leave that between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Leave that. The more you bring about those people who did bad things to you, the more animosity, more hatred will build in your heart. हम जितनी लोगों ने हमको तकलीफें पहुंचाएं, उसको भूल जाओ. जितनी ज़्यादा याद करेंगे, उतनी ज़्यादा हमको तकलीफ होगी. तो तकलीफ को दूर करने का आसान तरीका क्या है कि जो लोगों ने हमसे बुरा मामला किया, उसको भूल जाओ और कभी उसको याद मत करो. Beautiful nasihat. And then the second thing he mentions, wa ihsanuka ila nasi. Second thing, never ever remember. Forget about it. The moment you do it, forget about it. Is the good things and the favors you do to people. So beautifully he says, your ihsan to people, your favor to people, to whomever you did good, forget about it that moment. I give someone a donut, don't even remember that, oh, I gave Abdullah a donut. Forget about it, it's done. Because the more you remember, what's going to happen? Look, this guy is so stingy. I gave him hadiyah 10 times, but he can't even give me once. And now you lost all your reward. लोग दूसरी बात कभी याद मत करो, भूल जाओ बिल्कुल. वो ये है कि हम जब एहसान करें किसी के साथ, तो वो एहसान का मामला फौरन भूल जाओ. वो अल्लाह और आपके दरमियान अल्लाह आपको उसका अज्र देंगे. But forget about it. Don't remember that. And two things, never ever forget, always remember. What are these two things? Two things, Hakim Luqman says, never ever forget. Always remember these two things here. What are these two things? First thing is what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should never forget Allah. Every given moment, Allah is Allah, Allah, Allah. I am praying salat, Allah is there. I am eating food, Allah is there. I am alone in the bedroom, Allah is there. I am sleeping, Allah is there. Wherever I am speaking to someone, Allah is there. I am buying and selling, Allah is there. Every single thing that I am doing, Allah is there, and we can never forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second thing we should never forget is akhirat. Akhirat. Never forget hereafter. Human beings, when they forget akhirat, that is when they have all kinds of issues and problems in this life, and all the miseries and jealousy and animosity and hatred, all that will come into this world and into our lives because we forget akhirat. It's a very detailed topic that I cannot go into, but Hakim Luqman says, do cheez kabhi yaad nahi karni hai. Two things we should never forget, never remember, and that is what? When people treat us bad, we don't remember that. When we do good to people, we don't remember that. And two things we always remember and we never forget. And what are these two things? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and akhirat. Now inshallah, I know I found these advices to be very beautiful. So we discussed this advice here, but I'm looking at time, it's already 8:28 right now. So again, inshallah, next week we will go on to the advice that Hakim Luqman gives. What is shirk? The different types of shirk. What is tawheed? The different types of tawheed. And beyond that, what Hakim Luqman discusses, inshallah, we will discuss that next week. May Allah Ta'ala give all of us understanding. And again, once again, these nasihat and advice, I request the parents, because I did the same thing and I found it very beneficial. I asked my son last week as well. And they asked me to share stories with them. So I said that I was going to share one of the stories that I knew from Friday program. Oh, you already got to remember that story in Friday program. And I asked them, what did you remember? So they were able to tell me. So we should do muzakara. So I encourage the parents, if you want to take maximum benefit from your children, ask them what you learned from the program. That way, inshallah, they will be more attentive and they will listen to the program better and they will be able to benefit themselves as well. May Allah Ta'ala give all of us understanding. اللهم لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله وإليك يرجع الأمر كله اللهم لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك يا رب لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك عظيم سلطانك يا رب صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق. Wallah, forgive our sins. Wallah, pardon our sins. Wallah, all the brothers who have come here, the brothers and sisters that have come here from far and wide, Ya Allah, accept their coming here. Wallah, all the brothers and sisters are sitting here, Ya Allah, accept our assembly. Ya Allah, let this assembly be a means of barakah and blessings. Ya Allah, we know that this blessing is full of angels that come down. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, bless us with all the goodness that there is in this blessing, in this assembly here. Ya Allah, we are in need of, Ya Allah, about all the goodness which is out there. Ya Allah, protect us, Ya Allah, from any shortcomings that came into this gathering, in this assembly here. Ya Allah, we were discussing the beautiful advices of Hakim Luqman alayhi salam. Wallah, inspire every one of us with the goodness that was shared today, Ya Allah, and let us be able to practice upon that. Wallah, make it easy for every one of us. Every one of us have unique need. Ya Allah, fulfill our need as long as it's permissible. Wallah, make it easy for every one of us. Across the globe, there are many people that are going through so many challenges. Ya Allah, make it easy for them as well. Wallah, accept our dua. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al mursalin.